Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Wednesday morning training here at the GoPro Trading Academy, being held by yours truly, Ian Giffen. Hi, Gary. Fern. Morning, Karine. Welcome, Dave. Hi, Bucas. Ingrid. Okay, great. Nice to have a long list of people here today. So welcome to you all. And if you are new to us as well, then please do take the opportunity to go and have a look at some of the other training that we have in our channel. We are currently looking at a relatively some basic training on MT4 on request from a couple of our members, and apparently quite a lot of you folks have found this to be very useful. It is obviously essential to make sure that your platform is set up correctly. And last week we looked at how to install the platform correctly. Today we're going to be looking at how to set up the templates and profiles for your trading platform. In the next session, we will look at customization of MT4. So please do look out for that. But for today, that's the profiles and the templates are the main things that we are looking at. So if you are obviously interested in looking at some of our more advanced training, yes, most of our training is significantly more advanced than just looking at the platform. So as I say, please do avail yourself of the other material in the channel. And if you'd like to take things even further than that, you will see that we do have a link below our posts that'll allow you to do that. But for the moment, if you find value in what we're doing, I'd really appreciate it if you're watching this as a recording, to like the video in our YouTube channel. If you've got any questions for me, then do just pop them into the comments below. Those of you watching this live, obviously you can use the chat box. So then I'll be able to respond to you in person as I do to each question. All right, fine, let's jump into this. This is what the platform looks like once you've installed it and made those few changes that I mentioned last week in our training, just to ensure that everything is absolutely hunky-dory. If you don't get some of those settings done properly, you do stand a chance of your platform not behaving as it should. Right, so first of all, you'll notice that with any installation of MT4, it comes up with this basic profile, default profile, as well as a couple of others. Now you can access the profiles in a few ways in MT4, and by tapping on this little icon at the bottom over here, you'll see I can bring up the profiles menu where we've got default, British pound, euro, market overview, Swiss franc. I don't care about any of those, to be honest with you. So the first thing I'm going to be doing before we go any further is just to close these down. And this is just the default, and I'm going to also be deleting those other profiles. To do that, let me show you another way of accessing profiles. You'll notice the icon on the top left here. You can do it there, and I'm just going to go to remove profile, British pound, yes, remove profile, euro. It's as simple as that, folks. These profiles don't provide me with any value. So let's just clean up the platform, make sure we're ready to roll. Okay, so that's done and dusted. Now looking at profiles again, you'll see the only thing we have is the default. Next up, we need to, before we do anything else, we need to make sure that our market watch is ready for us as well, taking into account all the instruments that we are looking to trade. So I'm going to close down the navigator. We don't need that. We'll come back to this next week when we do some customization. So let me just close that down. And here we have the market watch. I'm going to just undock it by clicking on the gray, the market watch gray bar at the top, if you like. Just undock that. I like to do that, obviously, because I use multiple monitors. It allows me to move this around and to keep it on whatever monitor I want to have it on. Next up, what I like to do is, well, first of all, I need to make sure that I've got all the instruments that I need that I use in my trading approach before I order them. So at the moment, it's in a bit of a random order, but let's make sure we've got all of our instruments first. So I'm just right-clicking anywhere inside the market watch and then going down to symbols. You can also hit Control U. Each broker, by the way, will look a little bit different, but I'm just going to go through first of all, the Forex. You'll notice that some of them I don't want. I'm really not interested in the Chinese yuan or the Singapore dollar. So many of these I'm just going to ignore. But I do want GBP Aussie, GBP CAD. So I just double click on that little box dollar sign icon so that it's gold. Likewise, I want GBP NZD, Kiwi CAD, Kiwi Swiss. I think that's all that I need there. Going to Forex 2. Is there anything I need here? No. And obviously, if we want to have things like gold up, we can have that. And obviously, commodities. If you're trading commodities or indices, those will be available as well. But I'm going to just keep it simple for the moment and have the main 28 currency pairs that we look at plus gold. All right, so I'm going to click on close. Next, I need to resort this so that it is in the right order. Now, I have a particular order that I like to keep it in. It's slightly different from many people just because I like to group the yen pairs together, the yen crosses. But let's start off with the majors and the minors, which, of course, as you know, will be all the dollar-based pairs. So GBP, USD. Now, all I'm doing here is I'm clicking and dragging into the right place and then dropping it. So I just go down the list and simply move as appropriate. So Euro Swiss goes above Euro Aussie, but under Euro GBP. As I mentioned, I like to keep the yen pairs together, and I put them after the majors and the minors, the dollar pairs. GBP Swiss does come after that. There's another yen pair, but it comes after the Euro yen. Aussie NZD is going to be near the bottom. Okay, so you can see that this is pretty straightforward. I'm not going to do all of them right now, but get them into whatever order you feel works for you. Okay, so that's the main thing. I just want to get our Kiwi pair up there as well. And I may as well just get all the yen pairs together quickly. And that should do the trick. Right, so sorting out the rest, you can see from my other training how I do that, but effectively it is just from, I try to have most liquid down to least liquid. That's not entirely perfectly done, but nevertheless, you'll see that there is a logical progression there. You're welcome to do it any which way you want, of course. All right, so now we've got all of the instruments that we want to trade in our market watch. The next thing we need to do is set up our first template. Okay, so I'm just going to start with Euro USD. If you right click on that and tap on chart window, I'm going to bring up 3 of these because I do like to have a chart for 3 different time frames. Now, there they are. So I'm just going to sort them quickly. So I'm going to tile them vertically. Now, obviously, if you've got multiple monitors, then you may want to have one of these on each monitor. But for the purposes of this demonstration, obviously, I'm going to keep them all on one. Right. So for those of you who trade our strategies, you'll know that the 3 main time frames that we look at are weekly, daily, and 4-hour. So I've just selected that. Right. So there we have that. Now, in actual fact, what I'm going to do is set up the daily profile first, or template, I should say, first. So let me just do that. And then once I've got a template for that, I'll be able to apply that template to the others with one small change, as you will see. Right, so right click anywhere on the chart, go down to properties. Now, again, I'm going to customize this the way I like it, but you are welcome to do it any which way you see fit. I like to have black on white color scheme. So that's all I changed really under colors, but really MT4 is absolutely and completely customizable. I'm going to just set a couple of these the way I like them as well. And that's pretty much that. So I've changed that to the way I like it. as you can play around with that to your heart's content to make it the way you like, but I just find that this is pretty easy on the eye. All right, so next up, the final thing I need in the templates is the average true range. And of course, as you guys know, I don't really use indicators at all. The average true range really is a measure for a price action based metric. It's simply the average daily movement or weekly movement or 4-hour movement, whatever, for the pair over a certain period. And in this case, for the daily time frame, I'm using a period of 21 days. Also, then like to just scrunch this down to the bottom. I like to have as much territory on the chart as possible. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you wanted to add something like one moving average, again, you folks know that the only moving average you might see on my charts is a 55 EMA. So just changing it like that. In case you don't know how to add any kind of an indicator, I just use the indicators button, which is the one here at the top with a little green plus on it. Okay, so that's now pretty much done, and I'm happy to save that as my first template. So again, right click anywhere in a blank part of the chart and go down in the context menu to template, save template, and I'm just going to use hash. There we go. I like to use a hash or cedilla at the beginning just to keep it at the top of that list. But again, if you wanted to delete these, you're welcome to do that. Right, so I've saved that as a template. Now, if I go to any other chart and right click again, go down to templates, you'll see that there is the save template. If I just click on that, it applies it automatically. So I don't need to go through all of that again. The one thing I do need to change, and I don't always do this, but we do use a slightly different ATR setting depending on the time frame. So we use 13 for weekly. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the H4 time frame. Right click, properties. I beg your pardon, I should have done that. It's not right click properties that we can avoid. Now we got a template, click on price action, and also adjust the setting here. What I'm doing is I'm right clicking on the blue line to bring up this context menu and ATR 21 properties. Just click on that. It will work for me. There it is. And I use 34 on the 4-hour time frame. Folks often ask me why I use those specific numbers. Maybe a little bit pedantic, but certainly on the daily time frame, 21 is effectively one rolling month of trading days on average. Sometimes it might be 22 or 20, or maybe a little bit less in February, but that is pretty close to that. Not only that, it's also a Fibonacci number. Likewise, on the weekly time frame, it's a rolling quarter, 13 weeks per quarter on average. And likewise, it is also a Fibonacci number. And then on the H4 time frame, moving slightly away from things, there are obviously 34-hour candles in a week. But I'm using number 34 just to stick with the Fibonacci sequence there. So that's the reason why I use those numbers. But I'm not that strict about it, to be honest with you. And of course, as you folks know who trade our strategies, we use the ATR primarily for targeting, and there's not that much difference between them when it comes to that. All right, so that's how you set up the template and apply that template now to 3 charts that we are now ready to save as a profile. So to do that, we can go to any of our profile menu options. I'm just going to go to my favorite one, which is at the bottom. And I'm going to click Save Profile As and give it a name. And of course, the way I like to do it is keep it in that order that I've mentioned before, starting with Euro USD. And in order to ensure that my list of profiles remains in the correct order, I need to put a 01 at the beginning. Now, you can't put 1 at the beginning because it doesn't work that way. You'll have 1, 12, 13, or 1, 11, 12, 13, and then 2, 21, 22. That's just the way it works. You need to put that 0 in front to make sure you get the correct order. All right, so that's it. That's our first profile. So, and you can see at the bottom now, we actually, it says not only default, but Euro USD. To now set up our next profile, all I need to do is click and drag the GBP USD price basically from the market watch on to each of those three charts. And you will see that it says now GBP USD at the top of each of those charts. So we have simply changed the instrument on that chart. However, we are still on the Euro USD profile. So I now need to save that. So click on that save profile as and call it GBP USD. Okay, now we have two. Let's just go back to Euro USD and you'll see Euro USD is still Euro USD. So that's all well and good. And now you can simply click and drag and save profile as 03 USD JPY. It really is as simple as that. And all you have to do is go down your list of instruments, click and drag onto all of them, then save profile as 04 HF, etc. Right, and that's it, folks. So just keep doing that until you have completed your list of all instruments. One thing I do is, we're going to get to 28 on these pairs. Then I make a bit of a jump. So I leave a bit of a gap. So for instance, for gold, I'm not going to put that under 29. I give it a different number category. So for gold, I will call it, so for instance, save profile as 51 XAU USD. So it's in a different part of the number sequence. And there you have it. Now, what you will also find is that the ordering of this, it's fine for me now, but this ordering, especially if you have other profiles in there, is not going to be exactly right when you first save it. But when you shut down your platform and restart it, it will reorder this list in the correct alphanumerical order. Okay, so that's all you need to do, to be honest. I'm just thinking about one other thing that I'd like to show you here that's really quite important is that the data needs to be updated on your platform at all times. Now, if you're simply trading manually, then it's not such a big deal because you can see if the data is not up to date. However, if you're in a situation where you're using, for instance, a trade manager like our automated trade manager, it is absolutely essential that all data is up to date. How do you do that? Well, if you go to Tools at the top and History Center, and this is one of two main options, by the way. There is another one, which we talk about in another training video. But this one will really make 100% sure that you have all of your data up to date. And you go, once you've gone into the History Center, go into your menu item to find your instruments. I'm just going to start at the top. Aussie CAD. The three that I'm really interested in, as you know, are H4. I'm just double click on that and just give it a chance to upload. And obviously, when you see that little icon turn green, you know that your data is 100% up to date. So I'll close that down just to show you again. It's Tools, History Center, or F2. And then for each instrument you're trading, you need to just double click on each of those icons and be a little bit more patient than you possibly. Okay, so that's the final tip I wanted to show you today when making sure that you've not only got your template set up, you've also got profiles ready to rock and roll, and all of your data is up to date as well. And that's it from me. So if you don't have any questions for me, then, and of course, if you are watching this as a recording, once again, please do, first of all, like it if you have enjoyed this. And secondly, also subscribe to our channel so that you can be notified when we do bring out our training. We do bring out training approximately 2 or 3 times per week. And finally, if you do have a question for me, happy to answer anything, just pop it into the comments below. All right, folks, so that's it from me. Have a great trading day further, and I'll chat to you all soon. Bye for now.